we interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
In the beginning, the universe was created. This has made a lot of people very angry and been widely regarded as a bad move.
Previously on the Don't Panic Radio Show. Today on the show, we're going to talk about D&DP, a Dungeons and Dragons basic fantasy open game license game developed by your host, Paul Schultz.
Yes. Yep.
And we then are going to stray off in the TV shows we've been watching and the movies that we watched when we were in junior high. So it all has to do with junior high. Today is sponsored by Martin T. Krieger Junior High School in Michigan City, Indiana. But before we get into it,
before we get into all that, do us a big favor and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you like this video, hit that little bell icon to let YouTube know we exist and to let you know when new episodes drop.
Your dungeon master has placed you in a dreadfully precarious position. You're playing the most phenomenal game ever created. Your skin grows cold from your first glimpse at the enormous beast. It's a product of your imagination. Survival depends on a quick, decisive move. Your choices are limited. Stand and fight, or run. Use your lightning bolt. Victory is yours.
Win the treasure.
TSR Hobbies, Dungeons and Dragons games. Products of your imagination.
welcome to the Don't Panic Radio Show. That's Paul Schultz. I'm Steve Vincent, and nothing you're about to hear is true. So sit back, relax, and ignore the news. I think I got that out of order. Anyway, I'll go back and listen to some old episodes.
It's close enough.
Yeah.
Also, for those of you in podcast land, that was the sound of me waving.
Hey, how you doing? Speaking of Don't Panic, there's a new game out. I don't know if y'all heard. If you follow the Doomed Wizard YouTube channel, you would have heard already. There's a new game called D&DP. There it is, folks. D&DP. That dragon. Tell me about that dragon.
It's clip art.
Okay.
The whole book is full of free clip art because I didn't feel like this isn't for profit or nothing. It's just something I wanted to put together so that we could have books. And I hate just looking at text, so I grabbed just a bunch of free clip art and slapped it in there. And as Superfan James said, "Why make it any harder on yourself?" Just
yeah. I love that. I love that. It's like a painter hiring somebody to paint one of their rooms.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's face it, painting a room and being Monet are two different things.
That's
but
true.
The main reason why I went with that is because this illustration in particular was I wanted it to be as old school looking as possible, and this is like something I would have drawn in like middle school. So it worked perfectly for me. Initially I wanted to put the the illustration I did of Sally on the cover, but I can't find the original nor the file of it that I had because in the move a lot of my art got shuffled around. I'm not sure where it all is.
Yeah. Well, it's good. I like it. It's fun. So we have a plan, I believe.
Yes, we do. The plan is first I have to write a game. I have the basic idea for the game. I'm gonna write it up, and we'll just pick a day. I'm gonna mail these books to you guys, so you've got something solid to hold in your hand, as opposed to a PDF. So I'm gonna write a game. We'll do what's called a session 0, where, like, since it's you and Superfan James and MP. MP has never played Dungeons and Dragons in his life. He's never played a role-playing game in his life. I know.
Man, my hat almost fell off. How
told him.
How could he be such a big nerd and never play? Is he a poser? Is he posing as a nerd just so we'll like him?
No,
And
I
because
think
being
he's
a
just
nerd is popular now.
yeah. No, I think he's just a music guy, and a lot of music guys don't. We travel in the same circles. We just don't do all of the same things. But I
He's
told
a
him
he's a
session
nerd
zero.
about music.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, session zero is set up to basically familiarize the players with the rules, create new characters for yourselves, run a little bit of combat and how spells work. And just kind of get that way when the actual game starts, nobody's lost. You know.
But
So
wait a
that
minute.
then after
Has he read Lord of the Rings, or
um
has he just watched the
well
movies?
you know him better than I do. I have no idea.
Huh.
MP,
I
if you're
just
listening or watching, let us know in the comments.
I'm just like, you think you know somebody,
Mhm.
Mouse, you think you know somebody, and then you don't. D&DP, how is D&DP constructed? How's it different from D&D, let's say? Are there differences, or is it based on the
Well,
open OCR?
no, D&DP is basically a stripped down, streamlined version of 5e, which is the game that everybody knows. Everybody knows 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. Well, this is basically a streamlined, stripped down uh version that is very similar to what we started playing the old paperback books in junior high. So there's not acres and acres and acres of books. There's just like a little 30-page book. And the only reason why it's 30 pages is I decided to go ahead and include the spells in it. That way it's all in one book because that's what I like. When
Mhm.
I play when I play role playing games, I don't want a ton of books on the table, which is why I use basic fantasy because the whole game is in one book. They have supplementals and stuff, but everything you need to know, one book, which is in keeping in the tradition of our junior high days. There was one paperback for basic and one paperback for expert,
Yeah.
and this is kind of an expert version.
Is so it's based on the open, what's that called? The open license
The, the,
for the
the open game license
yeah.
for Dungeons and Dragons, yeah.
Yeah, so it's based on that
Yeah.
and heavily influenced by 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, and heavily influenced by junior high because uh
Martin
I
T.
wanted
Krieger.
yeah. uh boy, we had to get out of there somehow.
Somebody posted the yearbook pages on Facebook in the
Mm,
Michigan City group from
hmm.
when you were in 7th grade.
Oh boy.
But that was close enough. They had all of our principals were in there, the dean, all the teachers. It transported me back, and I wanted to just yell at the person. Do not ever, like, people are like, "Oh, what great memories! Oh, I remember those days. What great memory!" I'm like, "What?
Do you though?
I don't remember anybody being happy." In high school, I remember some happy people, like
Yeah.
the normies that started to get life figured out, and they're like, "Oh, it's high school. These are the high school days. These are great." I remember those people. I don't remember anybody enjoying junior high.
No. Once you get past ninth grade in high school, it's pretty well cake. And it's a whole different setup.
Yeah.
But no, man, the only thing that kept me sane in junior high was Dungeons and Dragons, dude. Because
Yep.
yeah, you got to find your people and escape from the 2 years of being trapped on the island without the conch.
Whenever I eat Cheez-Its, I think about Dungeons and Dragons because when I bring my lunch, the constant was Cheez-Its. Every day I
So
had
you better
Cheez-Its.
have Cheez-Its ready when we play.
That's a good idea. I
Yeah,
should remember that. Somebody should think of that,
yeah,
and then I should remember it.
and while we're on that subject, yeah, the game will be run on this channel
Nice.
So, and I'm hoping to break it up into about 3 parts. That way, it's not like I don't like to sit and watch playthroughs on YouTube for like hours and hours and
Mm.
hours. I like a nice digestible, well edited, well crafted chunk because not everybody's as good at improv as they think.
That's true. In
And we
fact,
all know how much MP loves improv.
most people aren't as good at improv as they think. Professional
Right.
improv people aren't as good as they think,
Yeah,
as MP can attest.
right.
That's awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. So this is a ton of work for you, man. You're doing the Ancient Astronauts work. Thank you, because you've got to do all the prep stuff, and then you got to run the game, and then you got to go back and edit it, right? Because you're not. It would be super boring if you didn't edit it together, to
Yeah,
make it
because
flow.
we did that with T&D where it was
Yeah.
just like roll, miss, miss,
Right.
miss, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's why at my age I don't have the energy to make massive campaigns. And that was something that MP asked. He's like, doesn't what this is going to be an episode? Doesn't it take like hours to play? I'm like, well, it depends on how you play it, but as I told people on the Doomed Wizard channel that I'm doing basically a one-page dungeon, which is
Nice.
all your information on one nice page with some cue cards off to the side to kind of help. And the majority of how I run games, there's not a lot of rule looking up, you know. There's only about 5 rules, and I play by them fast and loose. And as long as people around the table are entertained, they'll never know that I'm making it up.
Yeah.
So,
And then next time we're going to play Risk.
two men vying for global domination who can barely run their own lives.
The Ukraine is weak.
Oh, Ukraine is strong.
Ukraine is strong. Yeah, that held up.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is a Seinfeld reference for those of you that didn't catch it.
Mm.
That's great. A one-page dungeon. Every time we play, I have to. In fact, I think I'll use Google this time instead of being a pain in your ass. I always have to remember like what the different things mean, and then when I roll, like what to add and and all that stuff. So that would be boring if I'm sitting there going, okay, I have a +2 sword and my strength is this, and you have to explain to me every time. So I'll probably just watch YouTube or something like how to play D&D.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a simple. It's a much even when we were playing T&D, we were basically playing a homebrewed version of second edition. And even second edition has a lot more rules than it needs. So it won't be that complicated, and the session 0 will kind of help you brush up on it a little bit. And if we can do the session 0 and then like 1 week, and then a couple days later or maybe a week later jump in with the recording for the adventure,
Yeah,
that'll kind of keep things fresh in people's minds.
and the character sheet episode was good too. I'd recommend people go watch that over on Doomed Wizard. If you're watching this, you probably already know about it, but it'll give you an idea of especially if you're new to D&D. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like who would listen to the show that hasn't played D&D before?
I
But
mean, MP. I mean, I'll put a link in the description for my channel. So
nice. Well, that was quick and easy. We're like, okay, that's an episode. That's an episode. That right there, that's an episode.
That's an episode. What'd you do today? Nothing. That's an episode.
That's an episode. Got up, went to work.
Dude, I watched so much Seinfeld. My God.
It's one of Simone's comfort binges, so we're in the middle of it now. We're on season 5 of our.
That's pretty much the
run-through.
sweet spot.
Yeah,
like 5 through 7 probably is the sweet spot for that show.
Yeah, and I never knew until Curb Your Enthusiasm came out that it's really Larry David. because
Yeah.
when you see interviews and stuff with Seinfeld, and even his
Mhm.
stand-up is just kind of, you know, if you watch Comedians in Cars with Coffee or whatever that show is, it's still just
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of, he doesn't have that like brilliant comedic mind like Larry David does.
Yeah. Well, I watched an interview with Jason Alexander, who famously played George Costanza, who
Yeah.
is based on Larry David, and he said,
Yeah.
and you'll see a marked difference. Season one, he's basically playing Woody Allen,
Mm.
and then he realized, holy crap, I'm playing Larry David. So he just
Yeah.
channeled all that to create Costanza.
I think Larry David said George is me without social filters. And I'm like, I think you are you without social filters. At least if his portrayal in Curb Your Enthusiasm is accurate. It's probably not, right? It's probably
Yeah.
not exactly
I'm thinking
accurate.
some of it's played for effect.
Yeah. 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 But yeah, and I saw a long interview with Jason Alexander, and we might have seen the same one. All of these guys, Jason Alexander, Jerry Seinfeld, I don't know about Julie Louis-Dreyfus, and Michael Richards, huge egos. Like, I didn't
Mhm.
realize, like, Jason Alexander sitting there like he was performing Shakespeare, right? Okay, good
Yeah.
actor, well done. But the fact that he didn't like go on and do a Wayne Knight and be, in other shows, other movies and all that kind of tells me like maybe his range isn't there. Like maybe you like the smell of your own farts a little too much, Jason Alexander.
Yeah, yeah. They all have huge egos. But then again, they did create one of the most popular shows in television history. They were the
Yeah.
highest paid. I think the Seinfeld crew and Frasier
Mm,
were like the highest paid actors on TV at the time, garnering something like $1 million an episode.
nice.
So all that money just comes pouring in, and it fills your head. I think
So you're saying it ain't bragging if it's true.
it ain't bragging if it's true, but I also subscribe to the Will Wheaton philosophy. Don't be a dick.
Well, act like you've been there before. That's the sports analogy when these guys score a touchdown or whatever, and they're just
Mhm.
acting like they've never scored a touchdown before. It's like, no, just act like you've been there before,
Yeah, yeah,
At least fake it. That's the thing with
yeah.
me, is like fake some humility. Like when
Eh,
Seinfeld was being interviewed by Larry King, and Larry King's like, and then he said something about the show being canceled, and Seinfeld wouldn't let it go. Like he's just like,
mm,
canceled. We were the most canceled. We were the most popular. 20 million people were watching our show. We weren't canceled. We were still the most popular show on TV. And Larry King's like, I know, I misspoke. Sorry. When the series ended, canceled. What do you mean canceled? And like he just wouldn't let it go. And I'm like, dude, people misspeak. It's not like Larry King's trying to diss you, man.
yeah, yeah,
Relax.
yeah. It's not like he was being a purposely misleading clickbait headline. I
Yeah.
love that. Such and such canceled, and
Yeah.
no, it's over. I
Yeah.
just saw something like that not that long ago, and it's like, what do you mean canceled? It was over.
Like Reservation Dogs would be an example of that. No, they did
Yes,
everything
yes.
they said everything they wanted to say. You know,
Hmm.
if it would have been weird to keep going.
Yeah,
Like The Office.
yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Which again, another show I watched a ton of this past week
Hmm.
while it's hanging out in the hotel where you can check in but you can't check out. For me, The Office ends when Pam and Jim get married.
Yeah.
The next season you can tell that they're trying to figure out what to do, you know,
Yeah.
and so it's like every episode for the first 5 or 6 episodes seems like filler episodes till they figure out their footing. But
Yeah.
I think when your show's basis is like, say, will they, won't they, when they will, you should just bow out gracefully and be
Just be
done.
done. Yeah.
Yep.
Because nobody needs to explore. Okay, what kind of couple are they going to be?
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
well, in this case, Jim's going to turn into a huge dick.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Pam's pregnant,
Mhm.
so you've got all these. Your mind can take it and do what they want, do what you want with it. Nothing they're gonna do on television is gonna make it anywhere near what as good as it could be, like the Star Wars prequels.
What have I done?
Am I the only person in the world that kind of liked the Star Wars prequels?
Um, uh,
And before you answer, keep in mind, MP has never played D&D.
oh,
So
he's never gonna hear the end of that. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear why. Well, as Jim McLean pointed out, the the uh, the newer Star Wars movies gave me a whole new appreciation for the prequels. So,
oh,
so yeah,
that's funny. Yeah, I still liked them. My kids have not seen Star Wars.
that
The
see the last
New
time,
Hope.
right? The last time I watched those movies was a couple years ago before Arlo moved, and she wanted to watch them, but she wanted to watch them in episode orders. And
Oh,
I'm just like, fuck, you, all the cool shit gets revealed before the big reveals. So,
yeah,
and speaking of Star Wars, one more thing. Speaking of Star Wars, this past week I watched. Remember Corvette Summers for
I
Corvette Summer?
I saw your post, but I don't remember watching it ever.
Oh, okay. Well, Mark Hamill, he's a high school kid in a shop class, and somehow this shop class has enough money to build this really kick-ass Corvette. Corvette gets stolen. He he goes on a quest to find it, and along the way meets Annie Potts. And the funniest part, wackiness ensues. It's barely a movie, but the thing that got me was before he leaves to go explore to find the car, he's talking with his mom. Like his mom shows up, and she's like, "Why don't you come here and give your mom a kiss?" And bro, it explains Empire Strikes Back so much because the way they kiss, I'm like, dang, it's like that in a galaxy far, far away too. I mean, there was no spit involved this time, but
Old movies, man, are just weird about some things like that. It's like, why did that didn't even need to be part of the
yeah,
plot, right? There was
right,
no utility that didn't move things forward. It was just like,
yeah,
I mean, the fact that, spoiler alert, the fact that they, were siblings is part of the plot, right?
mhm.
But why did they have to like be interested in each other? I never understood that. It's just weird.
The more you learn about George Lucas, the more it all makes sense.
Okay, okay. Is he on Epstein's list?
I don't know if he ever left his ranch since 1979.
Gotcha. Well, the most important question in all this about TV and movies and everything is, what does that have to do with D&DP?
It's all nerd stuff.
It's all nerd stuff.
It's
so
all
that
the stuff we experienced in junior high.
so that people who have never played D&D can relate to what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so what have we learned today? We have learned that you can make your own rules,
Mhm.
which we did in junior high. Now we have a name for
Mhm.
it. And we don't
Yeah.
need those guys at that other table telling us we're doing it wrong. Because it's like, well, here's our rule book, buddy.
Yeah.
We're not using your rule book. So
Yeah. Somebody
brush
made
off.
these rules, so we're making our own.
That's right. Yeah, somebody made these, so we're gonna make ours. And if we're having fun, cool. So we are gonna have fun, and I hope you guys enjoy watching it when it comes out. Because Paul's putting a lot of work into this, and
Yeah.
your job, your duty is to enjoy it, because we're gonna
Yeah.
have fun.
I'll keep people updated on the show. But hopefully it won't be too much longer before we start running it.
All right. Well, in that case, for that dragon, that clip art dragon, and for Paul Schultz, I'm Steve Benson. This has been the Don't Panic Radio Show, and nothing you just heard was true.